Hello, everyone, or should I say, hello. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us once again for the I'll Try That podcast. It's me, Matt Barber, with my learned colleague Joe Truitt. Say hi, Joe.
Hello.
Hello. And you'll of course have noticed from our very clever way of saying hello this evening that we're of course speaking Icelandic, because our pursuit of happiness today is regarding Einstok, and specifically their white beer, Einstok being an Icelandic brewer. We'll get onto that in due course, but first I'll pass over to Joe for today's hot topic. Fire away, Joe.
Cheers, Barber. So I have some related beer news, as always, as we try to do, from around the world. So, 2 American tourists have been fined after being discovered inside Rome's Colosseum out of hours, drinking beer.
Oh dear. If you want to go to the Colosseum out of hours, you can. There is like an evening tour, as I understand. But you're saying even beyond that, they've just been lurking about, sinking a couple of tinnies.
Well, apparently they were found on the second tier of the ancient theatre at 5:30 a.m. So this is definitely not a good. And they've admitted that they did. They got there illegally. They basically broke into this building.
Naughty boys! That's an important historical monument. You're not supposed to just go and break in.
You're not allowed to, and certainly not to just sit there and drink beers.
Yeah.
Of course, that's never. I mean, it would be an amazing backdrop to share a tinny with your mate, but also at the same time, they're running the risk of getting this hefty fine. I don't know if it and besmirching a classic monument of the world. I don't know if it's worth it, if I'm honest.
I tell you, who wouldn't like that is bloomin' Emperor Vespasian. I think it was Emperor Vespasian. I'm pretty sure he's the one who commissioned the Colosseum.
Nice.
Like 78 BC. Someone's going to look that up in the background and tell me I'm way out and I've got completely the wrong person. But to be honest, that would be pretty cool. Have you ever been?
I haven't, but, to be fair, I felt like I was there with Russell Crowe's portrayal of Maximus.
took you there. It's pretty cool, the Colosseum, though. Like, it used to hold 50,000 people.
Yeah,
and,
that's crazy.
even by
for that age, that technology.
Today, that's a big stadium, isn't it?
Mm.
I think there was possibly...
Oh, that's bigger than quite a lot of stadiums in the world.
Big time.
That's awesome.
Big time. I think there was a bigger one around then in Turkey or something like that. But that's neither here nor there. I think it would be a pretty cool setting. Although I think by 5:30 a.m, I don't imagine this was like their first beer of the evening.
Yeah, it's not like they've woken up early to go and get some beers and go to this. It sounds like it's the end of a night jobby, and they thought it would be a good idea whilst under the influence a little bit. So I'll give you a guess. How much do you think they had to pay in a fine? We're talking euros here, obviously being on the continent.
I'd sort of be disappointed if it was less than 1,000 each.
Oh, you're going to be disappointed.
Really? Oh, yeah. I think it was either going to be really high or really low, I think. And I wanted to say like 5,000 euros each. Are you going to tell me it's like 250 euros or something like that?
Well, they were charged together 800 euros, which, if I'm honest, I don't think is enough. Is enough of a deterrent. Because there's going to be some people out there going, $800, 800 euros, sorry, to sit and drink beer on the Colosseum. I'd probably pay that. And I'm like, no, that's the wrong message to take from this.
Definitely rich people will end up doing that, which I imagine they would do. But to be honest, also, I wouldn't even go, as much as it would be quite cool to drink beer in there, I think if I was in there, I'd go and try and reenact a little battle or pretend I was a gladiator. I'd only be going in full costume, I think, if I went.
Well, this is obviously these 2 Americans, and they are giving American tourists another bad name, because apparently this isn't the first time American tourists have been caught desecrating this ancient ruin.
Okay. Oh, do we want to know?
Apparently in 2015, 2 Californian women were caught taking a selfie after carving their 6 centimetre initials into the stonework of the amphitheatre.
Oh, dear. Why did
What are you doing?
Imagine that, or if it still stays standing for another 2,000 years, they go, this was built 4,000 years ago. It's pretty amazing. And about 2,000 years ago, some absolute helmets came and carved their names in it.
Absolute helmets.
Anyway, I'm trying to think. Maybe we need to have. We could have like decoy historical monuments that aren't actually real, but they can like drunk people can go and muck about with them instead, and then keep the other ones intact.
Yeah, decoy. Yeah, I think you're right. Decoys. We need decoys out there because there's too many people who are just a bit. Well, as you said, they're just a bunch of helmets. Isn't
there something about also, just because the second couple are from California were taking a selfie, isn't it something like 7 people per year actually die from trying to take a selfie in a really stupid situation?
Oh,
and like people have walked off cliffs and taken selfies and stuff like that.
So stupid. I can believe it. I don't understand this new trend of filming yourself doing illegal actions. I don't understand that. Like, you're creating the evidence for yourself. You know, like, what are you doing?
It's going to sound like I was like, the lady doth protest too much. I haven't heard about this. I genuinely haven't heard about this. What have people been filming?
People driving. The big thing at the moment is people driving like ridiculously fast weaving in between traffic. Idiots, basically, and endangering so many people's lives, and they're filming themselves. And it's like, why? Like, why do it in the first place, obviously, but also B, why capture it on film that then the police will just be able to use it as to incriminate yourself? It's so stupid. But
social media's got a lot to answer for.
Stuff like that. People, with the advent of easy like video and photo capture devices, and accessibility to all, the amount of rising of us being able to view other people doing these things, but people have been idiots their whole throughout history, you know.
Yeah, that's true. There's always going to be some, and anyway, enjoy a beer by all means, everyone, but keep away from historical monuments. They're better off without you.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Well,
right. Shall we talk about some good beer? Good beer vibes.
Yes, please. Let's.
I'm channeling my inner Viking right now with Einstok.
So you should be.
Yeah.
I've been. Do you know? I remember seeing it. I've seen it from ages and ages, and I had some ages and ages ago, and I've gone a long time without drinking it. What have I been playing at? Because what a nice beer this is. Like,
it's delicious, isn't it? It's so
good. I've completely forgotten, or maybe it's even that my tastes have matured since then to enjoy it more. I think this is beautiful. And yeah, it makes you feel like a Viking, which is like even more of a win. I wish I was.
I must admit, I don't think I've ever had an Icelandic white ale before. An Icelandic white ale.
And so I also was. I think I'd fallen into a trap here, and I maybe even got it wrong. But also, I think the white is like a wheat beer, though, isn't it? So also, as much as I'm enjoying it, probably as we've known from previous episodes, I can't have too many. But yeah, it is. I'm guessing it's because it's a wit vice, you know, as we say in sort of more southern Europe.
So it's 5.2% ABV, and it's made with wheat malt, Pilsner malt, oats, Bavarian noble hops, coriander, and orange peel. So what beer have you had that this is quite reminiscent of?
There was a part of me, the first thing that comes to my mind was Blue Moon.
Yeah, you know, that's exactly what I think of when I think of this beer.
I like it getting right.
It is. And although it's very reminiscent of, it is not Blue Moon. It is very clearly a very different tasting beer. And I love the fact that it's still very similar kind of, you know, orange peel notes, you know, kind of this white ale, but it tastes very different. It's very crisp, isn't it, this beer?
Yeah, really, it's very much so. I think I like it more than Blue Moon.
I agree. I think if anyone's tried a Blue Moon and thought, oh, that's quite nice or interesting, you will love this Icelandic white ale from Einstok.
And I think, as you just said, I'm sure we haven't spoken about Icelandic beer before, or at least done an episode on. I remember the Icelanders are big into their brewing, aren't they? I'm sure we had it as a hot topic that they brewed a brewery in Iceland did a Christmas beer, but it was based on what a traditional Christmas beer, what a Christmas dinner was in Iceland. I'm sure it was like ham and pea or something like that.
Love it. Yeah.
Which was. Well, I'm glad we're doing. The thing is, stuff like that doesn't sound too far fetched when you have coriander and orange peel going on. But I think we're in safer hands with the coriander and orange peel.
Do you know why I think also this beer feels and tastes so crisp and clean? Is because I always associate Iceland as having some of the purest water sources in the world. You know, whether it's from fjords, it's from the
geysers,
glaciers.
Glaciers,
you know, it's actually glaciers, glaciers, whatever you want to call them. Exactly, and they have mountain ranges in Iceland as well, don't they? It's very undulating,
and like as many waterfalls as you could like possibly shake a stick.
Oh, wow.
At. It's a really cool country, actually. I'm due to be going in May. I can't wait.
Right.
I was meant to be going in May 2020. We all know how that panned out. But the thing is, I probably won't be going to where Einstok is sort of originates from. I know they've got a bar in Reykjavik, but Einstok, I never know. They're going to have to brush up on this before I go out there. I think they started up in the north, in Akureyri. If I'm pronouncing that correctly. Okay. There's a little fishing port there. There's also a little airport where you can, to be honest, actually in the winter months, you have to like fly up there from Reykjavik if you want to go and visit, because I think the road the pass is just frozen up and snowed, blocked from all the bad weather. But it's quite cool. I'm sure in like all like songs and folklore and stuff, Iceland's like there's a song about. It's a Led Zeppelin one. Go to the land of the ice and snow. Yeah, because it's so far north. Also, you can go and see the Northern Lights, and if you go in winter, it's in summer rather. It's one of those places you can. It will be light all night. Yes.
Okay.
So what you need is a more sessionable version of this that just be up and out for 24 hours.
Well, do you want to know about the different beers that Einstok Brewery have?
Yeah, because there are a few. I'm sure I've only seen in the UK. There's the one we're drinking, the white, and they do it's like an Icelandic pale as well. Those are the only two I'm familiar with, but I think they do more, don't they?
Yeah, so I think the one you're talking about is their Arctic Pale Ale, which is triple hopped for flavour and balance. They say on their website.
Oh, nice.
You've got an Arctic Lager, which is dry hop with Citra and Citra Creo hops. You've got the Toasted Porter. And again, all of these has an Iceland or Icelandic theme to it. Yeah. They've got a Wee Heavy. We haven't actually had a Wee Heavy on this. We've talked about Wee Heavies before. We haven't actually reviewed a Wee Heavy, but it's obviously a Scotch ale and a favourite up there in Scotland. So we'll definitely have to try those. So this is a Scotch ale, but they've put a smoked Icelandic barley with it to kind of have their own Icelandic spin on a Scotch favourite. They have the Arctic Berry Ale, which is their summer ale with hand-picked bilberries. I've never had a bilberry in my life, so I couldn't tell you what to expect with that one. They've got a lime and juniper, which sounds interesting, which is a juniper berries with a dash of lime. That sounds very much like a summery kind of drink. That sounds nice. Yeah. Maybe that's something for May. Maybe come May, they'll be full of lime and juniper, ready to go beers. They've got a Doppelbock, as we know. There's a good casual, good beer to have. And then they do a winter ale, which is with hand-cut spruce tips as well.
Nice. They're going to have to do a winter version. I think the idea with Iceland is also you can get like 4 seasons in one day, basically.
Right.
It's just because it's just. I mean, it's in the middle of the sea, isn't it, Iceland?
Yes, it is an island.
I've seen also that they. I'm getting way too ahead of myself, and I think I'd love to, but I think you maybe need to be Icelandic. But Einstok do also, if you go on their website, go and have a little look. They have got a Viking of the Year.
I love it.
So, which also it speaks to I like their little crest of the like twin crossed axes.
I love that.
And, that's playing into a very cool. I think they were kind of the baddies. Remember Vikings, but it is quite a cool. Character profile, isn't it?
Might be the baddies, but I think they definitely have been tipped as of that era. Yeah. They managed to kind of migrate. Their migrations and kind of movement and travel basically pushed a lot of kind of cultures together. I've forgotten that there's hereditary. There's a lot of like Viking kind of blood or whatever kind of mixed across a lot of the kind of the Viking travel routes, which were very vast. For our kind of our neck of the world. I think they were the most well-travelled. I mean, obviously they made it to Greenland, they made it to the Americas, which for that era in those types of boats was astonishing, wasn't it?
I'm fairly sure that the Viking is like, it's now a noun, but it used to be a verb, because it's like, to go Viking was to go and sort of travel and conquer, wasn't it? So it's like, that's what it's all about. But they've got their like emblem. I mentioned they've got the little. It's almost like a secondary one, is their crossed axes thing, but they've got very striking, quite plain and straightforward. It's quite intricate, but just the whole design of their bottle and on their label is this quite strong. It's facing stage left, long flowing hair and beard of a Viking with his helmet on.
Yeah.
He's all horny. No, he's got two horns sticking out. That's the sort of thing is going to endear you quite rapidly to drinking one of these beers, and you sort of tell yourself you're a Viking. I think it's very, very cool. But it's good they're not just relying on that. It is also just a delicious beer.
Yeah, it's very delicious, and as you said, the branding's great. It's very cool. You want to be involved in it. You want to wear the merch. You want to put your Viking hat on, and kind of run around and drink your Einstok beers. It's very cool, and they're a newish brewery. They've been around, winning loads of accolades and awards. But they do say to themselves they took their time getting their white, their white ale ready. Before, and then they've won a smattering of awards since then, in the last, since 2018 onwards.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I think they're gonna be more of I say a staple. It's not gonna be something I have all the time. I don't know. I feel to me like it is more of a, particularly the white ale, something more wintry. But I'm gonna be picking these up more often because I'm just really, really enjoying it, and it's. We've been doing this for a while now. This is one that's sticking out to me as one I want to say to people, if you've not had it, go and give it a try. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, so good. And actually, they've got live feeds on their website that connect to cameras that look out across in Iceland over the brewery. And the place looks pretty big. It looks very good. It's like a kind of a nice and big size brewery. That this isn't some people doing it in their garden or whatever. This is like they've become very popular. They've got a tracker at the moment on Instagram, where you can basically invest in Einstok, and they're tracking how much they've raised, and they've raised over $1 million at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Of crowdfunding, basically. And this was, the date of that was 2 weeks ago of date of recording, which is 19th of January. So yeah, I mean, they're doing obviously incredibly well. People are really passionate about them. Like numbers wise on Twitter, they have on Instagram. Yeah, Twitter, they have 5,000 followers. And on Instagram, they have 28,000 followers, so really hitting those punchy craft beer numbers.
Yeah, punchy, and like also, it's not a big place. I imagine that they've got followers from all over, but you'd expect it to be somewhat Icelandic dominated, those numbers, but it's still pretty punchy. So
I'm loving that this is exported. I love that. I can't wait. I wish there was more of this Einstok Brewery's beers here in the UK, because this has been a real hit for us, hasn't it? This Icelandic White Ale. So I'd love to try some of their others.
Yeah, agreed.
So maybe you can bring a case back, a mixed case on your way back.
Well, so this is the thing. I mean, I don't want to start. I feel like it's their episode. We'll keep it done. But I think the Icelanders brew a lot. I know they are quite partial to a beer themselves, so I'll happily bring some back. But also, I know there's quite a few other brewers out there that are supposed to be worth giving a try. So I'll try and bring back as many treats as I can possibly put in my my luggage.
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe, Rich,
Barber,
and Simo,
goodbye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
I'll try that podcast.com,
and watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.